Sit on down and pour yourself a glass.
And tune into your favorite podcast,
where things will be misquoted
and opinions ain't sugar-coated.
'Cause DJ and Kelly are locked and probably loaded.
Hey, remember when you were having problems with how Rhino was shitting in his crate?
Yeah. Hey guys, this is DJ Qualls, and welcome to Locked and Probably Loaded with DJ and Kelly. I'm your host, DJ Qualls, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Kelly Blackheart. Hey, Kelly.
That's me. What's up?
It's been a while.
I know. I missed you.
I missed you too. I was up in Canada, as listeners know, because I think we recorded an episode up there, right? Was I in a prison-like situation? Oh yeah, I had that like gray curtain behind me. I've got to do something about that. The little room that I use that's the quietest in our house in Vancouver looks like a prison cell.
That's fine. I think people respect a podcast from prison.
Awesome. Well, it's predicting the future probably. Anyway,
just so you know, if either of us go to prison, the podcast will continue.
Exactly. It will. Mm-hmm. I'll smuggle a cell phone in somebody's ass, and it'll be on a flip phone. But yeah, I'll make sure that
my Razor, T-Mobile Razor. God, that phone was so good. The Razor.
I never had it.
Oh my God, it was so good. So I had like all of the T-Mobile phones through college. I had a Sidekick too, but the Sidekick was so volatile. Essentially, it's like it fell out of my pocket less than a foot onto grass and broke. Whereas my Razor, one time I was joking around and I threw it at a wall. Totally fine.
Yeah, they were made of steel. They were like made of steel, weren't they?
I was like, hey, watch this. Nothing will happen. Threw it at a wall. Totally fine.
It's funny though, when you look at those things though, they all weighed like 7 pounds.
Not the Razor though. It was like a little makeup compact. The sidekick was very heavy.
It was so heavy.
That little swivel.
That's what broke it. I probably had 12 sidekicks.
What are you, Jesus? You're the Jesus of cell phones.
We ate dinner together. Yeah, I had so many of them, but we used to get them at the Sidekick launch parties. So I would stockpile them because I knew that they would wind up. I would wind up.
Did you keep them?
We sold some of them on Craigslist, but then I kept probably 4 a party.
Somebody's gonna spend a lot of money on that someday.
Yeah, if you wildly gesticulated, it could break apart in your hand. Yes. They were not well made.
They were held together by hopes, thoughts, and prayers. But
yeah.
But God, was it fun to do the little.
So, but then I got a Palm Pilot when I realized you could watch movies on them. The screen was.
I cannot even imagine watching a movie on that.
The screen was 2 inches by 2 inches. No, so it was like 2.5 inches by 2 inches, and I downloaded. It took me like 4 hours to download National Lampoon's Vegas
4
Vacation.
hours actually isn't that bad. I thought you were going to say, like, because back in the days of LimeWire and all that stuff, I would try to download a song. It's like 2 days and 29 hours. I'm like, that's actually 3 days and 5 hours.
These kids have no fucking idea. Oh, by the way, guys, I'm a little under the weather based on activities that I've been engaging in recently. Including but not limited to going to Mexico and traveling.
Yeah,
and
tell us about your trip.
It was so fun. I love Ty and I went to Puerto Vallarta for 7 days.
And Maya.
Yeah, and Maya went too. That's not.
We love you, Maya.
That's not how I meant it to sound. I was getting there.
Yeah, she was there.
I was getting there. Yeah, she was there. So we flew. We used a travel agent. I've never done that before, and I don't recommend it. You don't need it because it's the exact same ticket or trip that I could have booked us on Expedia, but $100 more.
Did you guys stayed at a resort?
We did.
Yeah, I think
I loved it. I'm still. We've been back from Mexico for almost 2 weeks, and I'm still wearing the resort bracelet.
It feels cool.
I refuse to accept that I'm not there anymore.
Yeah.
Puerto Vallarta was wonderful. Most packages is like 6 days. No, wait, 7. No, it's like 6 days, 7 nights, or is it one of those? Mm-hmm. We stayed for 7 full days. Mm-hmm. I want to go somewhere on a Wednesday and leave on a Wednesday. I don't want to leave on a fucking Tuesday. I feel like I'm being cheated. Yeah. And usually, here's a pro tip for travel. Usually, that extra day won't cost you very much. It's usually it's the flight. If the flight's the same price, that extra day, that either they'll throw it in, or especially if you're going to Mexico, I think the room rate they quoted us like $150 a night. But I bet if you're like, hey,
that's not bad at all.
No, it wasn't, and it was all inclusive.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
wow.
And we booked a few rooms, so because everybody needed their own space.
Should we just move to that resort?
Well, Ty and I are thinking about buying a property in Puerto Vallarta. I loved it. And I already have my local bar. It's called Gusto. It's my Moose. It's my what's my local bar here?
Oaks.
The Oaks. Yeah. It's my Vic's Kangaroo Cafe. It's my Soho room. I literally have a local spot where everybody knows my name in every city that I spend any major amount of time in. And I found it. It's called Gusto. It's owned by Serge. Hey, Sergio. And I have a good friend named Ashanti there now. Like, I have so many friends that I made that week that I've added to the fold of people who are my loves.
What was your favorite thing you did there?
We fucking went ziplining.
Ooh.
And the thing is,
You don't strike me as a zipliner.
Isaac, I'm gonna send you a photo. Could you put this photo up? This was on the website of the zipline company. Hold on one second. It's so good. Hold on, let's vamp for a second. Kelly, tell us something about you.
Okay, well, I'll tell you about my experience the other night real quick.
Yeah. Kelly got into a fight, didn't you?
I didn't get into a fight, but I went to Forrest was recording his album. He was doing like this intimate show at Hotel Cafe, and I went with Jack and Haley of the Doohickeys. Shout out the Doohickeys. And so we're sitting. So it's like there's 3 rows of chairs lined up right by the stage, and then there's a bar. So we're just sitting at the rail of the bar and watching from there. So it's in the first 10 minutes of the show. I'm like, there's a cricket in the room. That fucking sucks. Like, because I can hear it. And
like
then
an actual cricket?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And then all of a sudden, Forrest goes, "Hey, dude, are you playing that? Are you doing that?" And this guy's like, "Yeah." This guy fucking came to his album recording and was playing cricket sounds through it. And he goes,
"Why?
Can you not?" Because he was just because stand-up comedy is now ruined by these people who see TikToks of crowd work and they think that they want to fucking participate in the show and like.
And this is his fucking
album recording.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and this is the 3rd time he's tried to record it because every time he does, like something fucked up happens and it messes everything up. So he's like, "Can you just be cool? Like, can you just sit here and fucking laugh?" And the guy's like, "Yeah. They were drunk." No more than 2 minutes fucking later, the girl lets out this like very drunk like and I at this yeah. No, it wasn't that.
I don't know how to do that.
It wasn't that, but I at this point I'm now mad, and so I just get up and I walk up behind him. I go, "You guys, you need to get the fuck out." And so
you play bouncer.
I played bouncer, yeah, and it's like, of course I didn't want to get involved, but I this is Forrest's show. He's my friend. I'm proud of him. I want him to have the best experience possible. And we were only 10 minutes into the fucking show, and I knew that they were not going to stop. I was like, "All right, let's go. Let's get out." And so they're slowly like grabbing their things or whatever. And Forrest
is pay to be there?
I think he put people on the list if they wanted to come or whatever.
Okay.
And so they're like slowly getting up, and Forrest is kind of just like talking to the crowd and doing whatever. Now they're standing up by the bar and they're taking, they're being loud and all that stuff. And the bartender tells me, he's like, "I'm just going to close them out and then they'll leave." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And I was like, "Forrest, he's closing them out. They're going to leave." And this girl says,
So has this stopped the show?
It stopped the show. Yeah. Which is fine because it's like you can reset. It was going to be ruined
because
anyway.
everybody is like, is it kind of like when you're taping a sitcom because you want to make sure that everything is clean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so you may have to go back and redo
it's going to be edited regardless.
Yeah.
But so I tell him that they're closing their tab and they're going to leave. And the girl says something. I can't remember her exact words, but basically it was like, "I'm going to fuck you up, bitch," or something like that. And she's like across the room. And I go, "I took Taekwondo for 3 days. Fucking try me." And Forrest goes, "Did you just say I took Taekwondo for 3 days?" And I'm like, "I did." And he's like, "I love you, Kelly." And so then his friend Orlando is talking about like Roadhouse or something, whatever. So they finally leave. And then I took a shot of tequila right after that. And it's like that. I'm a very non-confrontational person.
I know. I've never seen you get riled up like that.
And I wasn't heated when I was talking to them or anything like that, but like the adrenaline rush of like that whole situation really activated my drunkenness. So it's like, so by the end of the night, I mean, it's not that I was like rowdy or anything like that, but I was like, "Oh, now I feel it." But it was fun.
You're a good laugher.
I was a good laugher. Yeah. But anyway, Forrest and I think they're going to keep that in. or at least for one of the tracks, he's gonna have that in there.
Nice. Maybe
So-
maybe he'll get nominated for a Grammy.
I
and
know,
he can go to
right?
the
That'd be really
ceremony.
fun. Yeah. So here's your zip line.
Look at the photo they use on the website. It is a child
He's
crying
terrified.
his fucking eyes out. And so we saw this and we thought that was hilarious. This is on their promotional website. It's
But we paid for the photographer. We have to keep it.
it's so funny. And I mean that's a professional photo that they took. And so we did it was on my bucket list of things to do. I've always wanted to go ziplining, and every time I go somewhere where it's offered, it's like you're hungover, everybody's like it's so far away. And so Maya found this zipline company. Let me see what their name is.
I do love the fact that they had to have taken, hundreds of pictures of people doing this, and they were like, this is the one.
It was, I mean,
we didn't have any pictures of people not crying out of pure fear.
Is your kid a pussy?
oh, it's called,
This one could be mistaken as him having a good time, so throw it up.
it's called Los Veranos Canopy Tour. And Veranos is actually, if I were doing that, but
we're
I'm
rolling our R's now.
Yeah, but I'm back home and I don't do that because of the croissant thing.
I sent him a video this morning that I saw.
I want a croissant.
I sent him a video I saw this morning of a guy. It's like the croissant thing. So this guy like walks into a cafe and he's like, "Can I get a croissant?" And so they're going back and forth.
I hate that. I really hate when you adopt the accent of the country when you come back home to show that you've been there. So anyway, but when I speak a decent amount of Spanish, and Ty has done I think I'm not joking, somewhere over 800 days in a row of Duolingo. Guys, that's not going to teach you Spanish. I love you, Ty. That is not making you. You may recognize some words, but it teaches you like this. It teaches you stuff like this.
I go to the beach.
Oh no, it's like, where is my luggage? Like that kind of stuff.
Well, I could have used that in fucking
No
Sweden.
Kelly lost her luggage.
In Spanish?
I could have, yeah. They're like, ma'am, we don't know where your luggage is, and we also don't know what the fuck you're saying. Duolingo does have the best social media fucking presence.
So I speak a decent amount of Spanish, so I would have to do that a lot. So I would order foods, and I would be like, I would roll an R or talk in the accent, and then I would have to translate back to them what I said, but with using no accent, because it's hard to understand those sounds if you don't know those sounds. So I was constantly like, oh yes, arroz con pollo, like that kind of shit. And I'm like, I asked for chicken and rice.
Arroz con pollo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like, how do you say that? Anyway, so we go on this thing, and this compromise, so everybody had a good time. Maya and Ty wanted to go on a boat. So you meet at the port, and I was carrying so many things that you can't carry with you, and didn't realize you have to go through security because it's an international port, and it's where the cruise ships go. That's where you get the boat to go to this, and they take you like 30 minutes south to this place you can only get to by boat. There's like these 7 fishing villages in the south part of Puerto Vallarta. Oh my God, so beautiful! It was so great. But anyway, on the ride on the boat, our boat guy was named Manny. Hey Manny. ¿Cómo estás? And so the funniest thing that happened on the whole trip was, and I won't say who he said it to, but he turned to a friend of mine and said, "Is this your son?" About me. To him. I'm going to live forever.
How did your friend take that?
He was a little taken aback. By the way, this podcast is brought to you by Skin Girls of Vancouver. I just went in. We'll get back to the trip in a minute. I just went in and got probably the most painful facial procedure you can get. And also Canada uses 5% lidocaine, which you can buy over the counter at Amazon, from Amazon. And in America, we'll be right back after these messages. Is that what you want me to do?
Not in the middle of a story. That's what I got in trouble for in the first place.
Okay, keep that in. I want that to remain in. Okay, so I go and get this really painful procedure, and like the dermatologist, every person who's ever had it done, when you expect people to do this, well, it hurts, use that voice, and everybody did this. It hurts.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you.
Yeah.
I was like, it fucking hurts.
It really fucking hurts, but it really works, and I already feel the skin tightening, and because I told Lisa Marie, the owner of Skin Girls, that I wanted to buy a vintage watch. she didn't charge me. So I got an $800 procedure for free. So thank you so much,
Very
Skin Girls
nice.
and Lisa Marie. And I have used that money to buy a vintage watch, and I will be there for a follow-up treatment very soon, and I will show it to you. But not my penis. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back, guys. Hey, Kelly.
Hey.
Anyway, it was a great trip. We loved it. I met a lot of Mexican Americans who were born in Los Angeles who've now gotten the hell out.
Mm-hmm.
And I made the mistake of asking the first person. I was like, so why'd you move back? And he just looked at me, and I was like, heard.
Serious question?
Yeah, totally.
Cereal?
Okay. Excuse me, guys. I'm sick. Sorry. Yeah, I would try to speak Spanish, and they're like, yeah, I'm from Los Angeles. And I was like, okay. I'm like, oh, why'd you? So you moved? Yeah, we moved back here. I moved my family back here. I'm like, why? And he just looked at me, and he was my Uber driver, and looked at me in the eyes through this rearview
It's
mirror.
like it was easier to come here willingly than
Yeah.
how they want us
Yeah,
to
exactly.
come here.
Yeah, the mode of transportation was of my choice.
I wasn't in shackles.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So, okay. So you zip lining, but then you guys were kind of, you had a group text going. I told you guys to keep me in the group text so I could get a little bit of updates. Did you guys separate a lot, or were you doing all of?
No, we did everything together.
Okay.
This was not. I mean, time. I got. I didn't get sick. I got run down because of a late night. So I took a mental health day by myself, and Ty and Maya went out.
Okay.
But yeah, we did everything together, and we travel easy together.
Yeah.
Nobody. I think it's easy to travel with people when you don't have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Easier, like you don't have to be somewhere. Like if somebody's always late or whatever. And also at a resort, I think it's easier because if somebody's taking their own time or doing their thing, you just go down to the bar and all the drinks are free.
Totally. A resort definitely helps in that.
And
in those
nobody
instances.
rolls their eyes when they make you a blended drink, like like a chi-chi. These drinks called chi-chis, which were basically like lava flows you have in Hawaii, which are pina coladas with strawberry puree running through them. They're so good. I think I have diabetes now. I had like 4 a day, every single day I was there. So good. I
My
lied.
morning chi-chi.
8 a day, and actually it was a morning chi-chi.
Was it adults
I know.
only?
No, but the kids didn't bother us, and there weren't a ton of them there. Kids only bother me when they're in my home because everything's glass and breakable.
When are kids ever in your home?
Well, I've had kids over. I know people who have children, and they've come to my house. And I always warn them, I'm like, everything is sharp edges and glass.
You need to put them in a crate.
Yeah, none of that. Not anymore.
Oh, speaking of crates, Kelly, you
Yeah.
got a breakthrough with Rhino, right?
Yes, I mean, sort of.
what happened?
Well, first of all, I don't even remember the last thing that we talked about. I got him this soft crate because it was lighter. I put him in that, and then he broke through it one day while I was gone for an hour. And did I tell you guys that story where I came back and he had his face fully in one of his treat jars that I don't know how he even opened. Like, I had this container of peanut butter filled pretzel dog treats in my bathroom, closed lid jar, and I come back. I went to go get my nails done, so I was gone for 1 hour. Come back, I see a little bit of trash on the second floor landing, and I was like, oh, that's weird, I must have dropped something. And then I hear this thud, and I'm like, oh no. And I walk into the room, and I think he had just pushed against the zipper thing, and it kind of popped open. He's there full snout into the container, and I'm like, you don't even have fucking thumbs, dude. Like, how did you get into this jar? And then I went downstairs in the living room, and I saw the remnants of what was a bag of half a bag of calming chews, and I was like, you
Calming chews?
Yeah, I'm like, you better be so fucking calm now. I'm like, I hope the diarrhea is worth it. He was fine though. He didn't
get sick.
No, he's got a stomach of steel, pretty
Do you
much.
think it's possible that he was manipulating you and realized that if he pooped in the crate, you'd let him out?
Yeah, so initially his other crate was big. It's too big for a dog, right? But I just felt like it was better for him to have more room, and now I've put him in a smaller crate that is actually the size. And I always felt guilty about that because I'm like, oh, he can't sploot and do all the things that he wants to do. But now, because of the smaller crate, you want to keep dogs in a crate that's small enough that they don't feel like they can poop and then still move away from it and have room. And so now he's been whimpering if he has to go to the bathroom. And so if he whimpers, sometimes I think he's manipulating me to get out, but I just take him outside and then I bring him right back up to the crate. And so he's learned that. But I've also now set up a system where like every morning I'll set my alarm for like 4:30 or 5 a.m. and I let him out and I let him sleep in my bed for the last couple of hours. And the fucking scam artist, it's like, oh, now you can sleep till fucking 10?
Yeah.
Now you can fucking, now all of a sudden there's no poop emergencies, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, dogs, I mean, they learn how to work you.
Yeah.
I mean, they are so from an evolutionary perspective. Like, they literally have developed the eye-face ratio of babies.
Yeah, he's a full-on scammer. But also it's like my sleep has been so fucked up since this whole thing started because anytime a smell changes in the room, I'm like, uh-oh, did something happen? But also what I'm noticing is that I'm hearing like phantom whimpers. Like when I put my head on the pillow, the sounds of the room change. And then when I lift my head up, it's different. And so like I'll be just falling asleep and then all of a sudden I think I hear a whimper. And so I like put my head up and I realize he's not making any sounds. And I'm like, fuck. So
this is like having a child.
I know.
It sounds like a codependent relationship.
Yeah. But it's I think we're at the point now where I'm like, okay, problem solved. So
you and Rhino
I haven't slept in 3 months.
are going to turn into gray gardens in a couple of years.
My roommate is very annoying. But yeah, so I wanted to, well, first of all, I mean, there's so many things that happened on my trip, but one of the best parts of my trip, I had a couple of days before I left, I had randomly looked up like, oh, are there any shows playing in Stockholm or Oslo while I'm there? And Teddy Swims was doing a concert the night that I was in Stockholm, or one of the nights I was in Stockholm.
I've always wanted to meet him.
Well, what's so funny about that is that I knew that you had met him before. I knew that you had his phone number, but I didn't know that there was any type of like actual relationship. I thought you guys had met and like, hey, take my number, blah, blah, whatever. And so I jokingly reached out to you going, well, I also like looked for tickets and I couldn't figure out the website because everything was in fucking Swedish. And every time I tried to change the filters, it was showing like one singular ticket in a back section. And I was like, okay, no. And so I texted you as a joke and I said, hey, you should text Teddy and see if I can like get on the list or something like that. And you were like, okay. And I was like, oh my God, no, I would not have, like, you know me, I wouldn't have asked you because I don't like to ask for favors, especially something like that where you have to ask somebody else for a favor.
Yeah,
I really
hate
putting people out. Yeah, I just won't do that. And so you texted him and he was like, yeah, have her text me. So I texted him. I'm like, hey, Teddy, this is Kelly. Like, and he was so fucking nice to me.
He's cool.
Put us on the list. I texted him another time because I was like, I kept trying to figure out if there was a will call or a ticket box there, but there was nothing on the website that said anything about a will call. So I was like, hey, let me know if there's anything I need to know about getting the tickets. And then I figured it out. But his show was fucking incredible.
It was like packed, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was totally packed. He said he was like a little bit under the weather, but you couldn't tell. His voice is fucking insane. He wore a Wayne's World hat for part of it. And I was like, okay, I love you even more because Wayne's World's my favorite movie. Got a fucking Party on Garth tattoo. And our friend Blake Lewis, the guy who was the runner-up on American Idol, he texted me when he saw my Instagram stories. He's like, oh, my friend Olivia is one of his backup singers. Like, I think he produced her album or something like that. I'm like, I've realized now I have so many fucking mutual friends with Teddy. I didn't realize.
He didn't even need me.
I think that he's big into like comedy and stuff like that. Yeah. So of course we have a lot of mutuals, but great fucking show.
Who else was performing?
The opener was a guy named Kian. I think it's Cian Ducrot or something. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. So here's the thing. We got to the show like right as the opener was ending because the night before we went a little too hard for Stan, and Stan was not. He didn't even know if he could make it to the show. Like, we went to dinner before. He was struggling the whole day, and we went to dinner before.
We took him out the next day, too, didn't it?
No, there were 2 separate days.
All right.
But we went to dinner beforehand, and he ordered a salad, and I've never seen him order a salad in my entire life, and I've known him for a very long time.
Is salad hangover food? Or
no, I think he just, like, couldn't fathom keeping anything down. And so I told him, I was like, listen, I'm going to go because there's no world in which I get free tickets that I'm not going to show up to something. That is my pet peeve. People have done that to me a billion times. Hey, can you get me tickets to Jim's show? Oh, sorry, we can't go. If you give people free shit, they will figure out a way to fuck you over. So I was gonna go regardless, and I was like, you know what? If you feel really shitty, like don't go. I'm not going to make you sit there and suffer through this. And so he got like the takeout food or whatever, and he was like leaving to go back to the train. And then he's like, Kelly, and he turns around and there's no food, and he's like, I'm coming. And so he's like, I'm just gonna try to go as long as I can.
He was so hungover he couldn't drink through it. Because
No.
usually 2 drinks you're fixed, right?
No. Yeah, it was just, I don't know. It also might have been like a jet lag type of situation. We also had a very rough travel experience getting there. Like everything about every part of the travel of that entire trip was a fucking nightmare. Like absolute nightmare. On the way there, we went to the Delta Lounge before our flight was at like 9:00 in the morning. We went to the Delta Lounge. We're having our mimosas. He has an app that normally gives him notifications like, hey, you're boarding. And he hadn't gotten any yet. But we're like, oh, this is probably about the time that we need to get there. We walk up to the gate as they're like calling him on the phone, like, you need to be here. So we go to Utah first. We're in the Delta Lounge there. The Utah bartenders at the Delta Lounge, they want to get you fucked up. We met the 2 coolest
It's probably
bartenders.
the only place in fucking Utah you can get loaded.
We weren't even ordering shots, but they were giving us shots. So we're drinking heavily in the Utah airport. And so our next flight is to Paris. But that flight got delayed like an hour and a half, which means that we were going to miss our connecting flight.
Oh, right.
So we get to Paris. Now we have a 6-hour layover instead of getting on the next flight.
I was going to ask you about that. So I think that Charles de Gaulle is were you in Orly or Charles de Gaulle?
Charles de Gaulle.
It's the worst airport in the world. There's nothing in it.
We were in the lounge, luckily.
All right.
If I wasn't with Stan, who had lounge access, it would have been even worse.
There's like one restaurant that has like 12 seats in it. People are sitting on the floor. It's like, this is I want to move there and open a business. You make $1 billion. I was in a terminal once with a 3-hour layover and hung over like a motherfucker coming back from Barcelona, and had no lounge in that terminal. And you can't transfer between terminals. You're locked. And I was sitting on the ground just going, help me, I'm poor.
Yeah, no, their lounge was pretty nice. It didn't have like bartenders. It had self-serve alcohol,
I like
which was fine with me. So we were there for, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours. Then we go to board our next flight to Stockholm. He hands his ticket to the gate agent. They scan it, all good. I hand my ticket. They scan it. They're like, oh, we don't have you on this flight. And I'm like, that's weird because I just handed you a ticket. They're like, we don't have a seat for you. I'm like, that's weird because the ticket has a seat on it.
Did they email you?
No, Stan booked all the tickets together, so it didn't even make any sense. And so they're then making phone calls, doing all this stuff, and eventually they're like, "Okay, we can get you on." I'm like, "Don't act like you're doing me a fucking favor, dude! Like, this is my flight." So we get on the flight, go to Stockholm, get there. Stan's bags come out right away, and I'm like, taking a long time for my bags. My bags don't come. They're like, "Your bags are in Paris." I'm like, "Why would they be there?" And the next night was the Teddy show too, and I'm like, I swear to God, if I don't have fucking clothes to go to this, like, I'm going to go, but I'm going to be in fucking airplane sweats. So that was the nightmare. Then on the way back, oh my God, my flight was supposed to be at 6:20 in the morning.
Why?
I think initially it was supposed to be 9, and then it got moved to 6.
They do that?
Yeah, but it was like a month in advance. So yeah. So it was at 6:20. You could get an Uber from, our Airbnb to the airport, but it was like $100, or you could take the high-speed train, which was $20, right? So I was like, okay, if I call an Uber at 4 a.m., then the first train was 4:40 a.m. I'm like, that will get me to the airport an hour and 20 minutes before my flight, which is totally fine. Call the Uber at 4:03 a.m. It says it's 7 minutes away, and the train station is 4-minute drive. 4:03 a.m. Then 4:07 a.m. passes, 4:10 passes. He didn't show up to pick me up till 4:37. I'm like watching the Uber thing. He's like over here, but I'm not going to cancel because it's 4:00 in the fucking morning.
If that was in LA, I would think that he was probably smoking crack or on meth.
So I get to the train station 1 minute after the train departs. And so but there's another 20 minutes later. I'm like, I'll still be fine. You just need 40 minutes to check your bags. I'll get there an hour before my flight. So I go in, I walk directly to the check-in counter, and they're like, We had tried to check in the night before and pay for the extra bag and all that stuff, but the app wasn't working. They're like,
it doesn't work anymore when you're traveling internationally as an American. I noticed this since all of this trade war shit's happened. I can no longer check in on my phone, and I got stopped on getting on a flight to Canada for reasons that they could not explain to me in Orlando last month. They're like, I'm sorry, they're asking for a visa code. I'm like, I came from Canada.
That's
like,
weird.
I don't need a visa because I get 6 months, leave to stay, and then I leave the country and do whatever. And they're like, so they had to call like the Canadian immigration people. Like, yeah, it's a glitch, but it does make me wonder.
Yeah,
I've literally not been able to check in online for international flights since all this stuff started happening.
I think Stan was able to, but I wasn't for some reason. So I go to the desk and I'm like, okay, I'm here to check in, and he's like, okay, you need to pay for your bag. I'm like, yep. And he's like, so you also need to pay for your seat. I'm like, why? And he's like, well, because this is you picked this seat. I'm like, well, no, I mean, like, and I'm texting with Stan the whole time. He's like, we didn't pick seats. These were assigned to us, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, so we didn't pick these seats. He's like, these are the more expensive seats. I'm like, okay, well, like I said, you guys assigned it to me. So he's making phone calls, doing all this stuff. He's like, all right, it's fine. I'll just, you can pay for your bag. And then he goes, oh, you know what? You can't pay for your bag at this desk. You have to go over there. And so, but meanwhile, I had put my bags up on the conveyor belt or whatever. He had tagged them, all that stuff. Stan got a notification that my bags were checked. Go to this other desk, and then this guy's trying to tell me I have to pay for my seat, all of this stuff. I'm like, we didn't choose this. Anyway, we're going back and forth. Time's passing, and then eventually the guy goes, okay, so we can figure this out, but the problem now is that we can't get your bags on this flight because it's past the 40-minute. He's like, why did you get here so late? I'm like, I didn't. I've been here for 35 fucking minutes, and there's no other lines. I didn't wait in line. I walked directly to the desk. So then I start like tearing up because I'm like, okay, well, so
going back to LAX for your luggage is cryworthy.
Yeah, well,
it's very hard to get to the airport.
I was willing to do that. I go, okay,
you
just send my. I go, then that's fine. If my bags can't make it with me, he goes, we cannot send your bags without you.
You can't travel without your luggage.
So I'm not getting on the flight. And he's like, right. And I'm like, then I'm just like fully crying. Like, I'm not being a fucking asshole about it, but I'm just like so frustrated, and it's so early in the morning. I just want to get home to my fucking dog, like all of this stuff. So then they're like, well, here, we're going to reroute you. We're going to send you to Munich instead of Paris, and then you'll go back. And I was like, will I still have a window seat? And they're like, you can check in Munich or whatever. And so I get my ticket. It's a fucking middle seat.
No.
And I'm like, on a 12-hour flight that you want me in a middle seat?
I didn't know this.
Yes, I know. I was saving all of this information for you. I'll finish it in a second. We'll be right back. I mean, DJ wants to tell you guys something.
What? Oh, we'll be right back after these messages. I like being on a non-polished podcast. So, Kelly, you were saying?
Okay, so luckily on the way to Munich, I had my own row. That was great. I was like, wonderful. Gearing up for the middle seat in Munich. So I as soon as I get to Munich, I realize, oh, so I'm in Terminal 1. My next flight's in Terminal 2, which is like a fucking mile away. So I'm like speed walking through the airport. And I go through them, and I have to go.
What's the connection time like?
It was about an hour.
Okay.
Or maybe an hour 15. But then I have to go through. I see the security line. I'm like, I have to go through fucking security again.
You always have to go through secondary security when you transfer terminals in Europe.
So now there's this long ass line for security that I'm waiting, and I get through security. I'm like, okay, cool. I still have time. Then I go upstairs, and it's the customs line, and I'm like, you're fucking joking me. There's a like kiosk that says like American passports, European passports, or whatever. Just scan here, and you can go through. And that line was very short. I'm like, great. Go to scan my passport. It's like, see a gate agent. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. So I stand in the long ass customs line, go to the gate agent. Some old couple cuts me in line to talk to the gate agents, and I eventually get up and I was like, hey, this is what happened, blah, blah, blah. Are there any aisle seats available? He's like, we don't have any, or any window seats available. He's like, we do not have any window seats available.
There's not an aisle?
And well, he goes, there's one aisle seat, but it's in the middle section. I'm like, great, I'll take it. I actually don't like an aisle seat, but
I love an aisle. It's the only way you can have privacy. You can turn away from people.
No, that's the window. No, I turn into the window.
Then if you go to the bathroom, you have to climb over people.
True. I mean,
on a 12-hour flight,
the aisles.
I drink half that flight, so the other half I'm peeing.
Yeah, I tend to not drink on long flights because of that. But the thing is like, my legs are so long that it's like you can put them in the aisle, but there are people walking by all the time, and so it's just like if I'm in a window seat, then I could at least take a couple Xanax and fucking pass out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they switched me to an aisle seat on that, and then of course I get home 4 hours later than I initially was supposed to, which was supposed to be like noon, but now I'm getting in at 4 p.m.
Oh, so
so I'm doing LAX.
I am
home in rush hour.
So Kelly and I have gone on a trip together. We were in Hawaii together, and it was a great trip with no problems, but we traveled separately.
Yep.
So I'm never, ever, ever traveling with you because I have pretty decent travel karma. This coming back on this trip was my 18th flight of the year so far. I'm going to set a record this year for a number of flights, and usually it's pretty smooth.
I generally have pretty decent travel
Prove
luck.
it to me. I want you to. I'm going to send you. I will pay to send you on a trip.
If you follow me on Instagram, there are lots of pictures of me going got the exit row again. Like that's on fucking Southwest. Which Southwest fucking you bastards. When I see you, their new baggage policy. And
What is it?
They used to be bags fly free. They're charging for bags. And it's like, they're also changing the seating thing now where you can select seats. And I'm like, you're changing the entire model of Southwest.
I would fly Southwest if I knew where I was going to sit on the plane. The only thing I have to know is where I'm sitting on the plane.
I don't mind the thing because I usually will board in the beginning. So I can pick whatever seat I want.
To know what's happening when I'm boarding, so I need to know exactly where I'm going.
Yeah, Southwest, you're dead to me. The thing is like Southwest used to be cheaper than other airlines, plus you got free checked bags, but now they're the fucking same price as other airlines, and now saying, yeah, bags are not going to fly free.
Southwest, it says that Southwest is changing their baggage policy for the first time in 50 years. Southwest is 50 years old.
They were built on this. Like this was their core tenant was like.
That's why I don't fly Southwest. I have to know where I'm sitting on the plane. I have to because I can't be in the window because every time there's turbulence, I'll open the window to see if we're on the plane's
if you
going down.
flew Southwest, you would be an A-list member, which means that you would be boarding in the first 15 people. So you would always get a seat.
But there's no first class, is there on Southwest?
No, there's no first class.
Well, what's the point of that?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not rich.
I'm not rich. I would never pay for a first class ticket. Well, that's not true. But but people, if you work long enough and they see how entertainment has aged you, they usually will fly you first class.
He needs his rest.
Well, they're like, we haven't had to pay to send him to rehab yet, so fingers.
We're actually saving money on this.
Southwest first class when you get the whole row to yourself, or
Yes.
there's nobody in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, my brother's Doritos Super Bowl commercial winner was based off of Southwest because it was like talking about how it was people trying to avoid having somebody sit in the middle seat, and there were so many people. It was like in the comments clear that they had never flown Southwest because they're like, actually, you know where you're gonna sit, and it's like, babe, some of us do the cattle call.
But didn't you used to like say that you had medical problems?
Yeah, I mean, I do because I do. Like, I learned that because the first time I did it.
But mental problems, so they qualify to board early.
But it would be like my knee's fucked up or my back's fucked up or I'm fucking 6'2", so like, can I have a medical pre-board?
Yeah.
And that's how I would always get on first. But you can't take the exit row if you're a medical pre-board. But I could always get a window seat.
You can always ask for extra time too, and they're not allowed to ask you why you need it.
Oh,
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I would ask for extra time and then sprint to a seat.
Just
Time me. Did I use it all? Did I?
That's so funny.
I want extra time for everybody to line up and watch this. And I'm wearing light up shoes. Oh, also something notable that happened on my trip. I got to hang out with a fucking podcast listener in Stockholm and in Oslo.
So cool.
Shout out to Stella in Stockholm and shout out to John in Oslo.
Hey, Stella and John.
Great to fucking meet you guys. It was very fun. It's what a weird situation where I could go across the world and somebody would be interested in getting a drink with me because they listened to me on a podcast.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
It makes us feel 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
Kelly is 10 feet tall.
I am. I'm 9'7" actually.
And I'm 9'8". You're taller than I am, right?
I think we're like right about the same height.
Yeah.
I might be slightly taller.
It's I'm so narrow like on those flights. Like it makes me like I feel so bad for people who who are either really, really tall or really, really large,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, but the problem is, it also hurts me a little bit when I see somebody exhale who's very wide sitting next to me. They do this. Oh, thank God. And I'm like, you're also going to take half of my seat too. It happens every time. Every time I get somebody who's a little wider, they'll lean into my seat. And I'm like,
You have room to spare.
I don't know you. Yeah, that's the thing,
I'm just kidding. But I've been there where it's like I've been in a window seat and somebody else who's super tall has been in the aisle seat, and then it's like we think the middle seat's open and they're like about to close the cabin doors and somebody comes rushing in and I'm like, oh no, it's another
also,
tall bitch.
I feel bad for anybody in the middle seat. I really, really do. I know that's a tough row to hoe. Nobody wants to be in the middle seat.
There shouldn't be a middle seat.
There really shouldn't.
I know. We should go back to the fucking Pan Am days where there's a goddamn bar and we can smoke on the plane.
Before it's over with, they'll be charging us for oxygen.
Yeah.
Like it really has become, everything has become Ryanair. Everything has become a discount airline where it's just like I see people in those in the video where they're showing you like the safety features like that they play before every flight and everybody's smiling. I'm like, these are crisis actors. Nobody feels this way on an airplane.
There's a gun
anymore.
behind the camera.
Exactly.
Well, a lot of people, I mean, obviously people have gotten bigger, but people act like that's the only reason that it's hard to fit on flights now. There is statistical evidence that the airlines have made the seats smaller.
Of course, it's shrinkflation.
Yes,
Everything's smaller.
Yes, and people act like it's, oh no, everybody's just getting so massive. No, they have made the seats smaller so they could fit more fucking seats on the plane, and it's not cool. We need to riot.
I mean, a couple of years ago, there was we are being subjugated.
Yeah.
It's already over. We're doomed.
Planned obsolescence, shrinkflation,
Yeah,
all of that
your
shit.
Your fucking washer breaks because the thing that's holding the drum in is made of plastic, and it costs more to replace that part than it does to buy a fucking new washer.
Boomers are like, why can't y'all buy houses? You buy too much avocado toast? I'm like, no, I have to buy a new fucking oven every 3 years, you twat. Anyway.
Well, there still works from the 60s.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there's we're built to last, whereas every single piece of technology that we have, like even our phones, your phone potentially could work for a long time, but they slow down the software.
See, everything is an experiment. Corporations have our number and they will push things and be like, we're not making money anymore because these products are too good. So let's see if we can make it last 10 years and if people get mad. So you know what I mean? It's like a candy bar will shrink by a couple of millimeters. And the next thing you know, you're eating a fucking trial size and paying $3 for it.
Yep.
Candy bars are definitely smaller than they used to be.
That's why they want to get rid of TikTok, is because people will do those experiments. Like, here, I bought this box of Rice Krispie treats. It's a 10 pack or whatever, but then I bought this 40 pack and it's supposed to be the same price, and they'll like open all of them and be like, see how these ones are bigger and these ones are smaller. It's
really?
like they're doing those types of, like, they're showing us how we're being fucked over, and people are like,
but the thing is, you're getting fucked over from every direction.
Yeah.
So it's like being in a 31 way. You don't know who to turn to next.
Being
It's shock
alive
and
right
awe.
now is like being stuck in a wave in the ocean, where every time you come up to like catch air,
Yeah, you're
another
pulled back
wave is
down.
crashing,
Yeah.
and your bathing suit's falling off somehow, and you're like, I have sand in my asshole. What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, that's life right now.
You can't focus on any one thing to be able to see it through to fruition. To be like, I'm upset about this. We need to get everybody on this page so we can all band together and protest this tyranny, because it's all tyranny.
Yeah. Yep. All of it. Oh, also one more thing. I got three new tattoos on my trip. Can you really quickly look up Gustav Vasa?
On IG?
No, just on the internet. He's a king from like the 1500s in Sweden. We went to this museum and I saw this picture of him, and he is wearing like the biggest jacket. I don't know. I don't know that I would call it a jacket. Okay, so go to the one on the bottom.
It's a tunic, Kelly.
Yeah, that one. He's got
yeah.
he's got little tiny little legs and then this giant ass jacket, and I saw that picture and I laughed so hard, and my tattoo appointment was like 2 hours later, and I'm like, I have to go back to the hotel and outline this and get this as a tattoo.
You did really well.
Thanks.
Like it looked just. I mean,
You can tell it's
You can
him.
tell exactly
Yeah.
who it is.
Yeah.
And it's a tunic.
Okay, well, it's a big ass tunic. I don't think that his body fills that out on the inside, but what do I know about Gustav?
It was Sweden. It's 9 degrees there in the summertime. People break the ice to go swimming. So I'm sure that was all fur lined.
I did Google him just to make sure he wasn't like the worst human on the planet. the jury's out still, but it seems like he wasn't that bad for the 1500s or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I also got in Sweden. I got someone who isn't me sometimes, which is what Teddy Swims, the acronym SWIMS, is for. And then in Norway, I got a traditional Norwegian saying in Norwegian.
It just says a traditional.
It says a
Norwegian
traditional
saying.
Norwegian saying.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to take this up on the Patreon. Kelly, tell them all the words.
Oh, yeah. You can follow us on social media at LoadedPod. Send us an email, probably loadedpod@gmail.com. You can join our Patreon, which we are going to have a live happy hour probably next week because this is coming out tomorrow. So if you want to join that, patreon.com/loadedpod. And we are about to open some Valentines from Ivy. On the Patreon.
If you
and our
if you
phone
want to
number.
leave us a voicemail, you can leave it at
323-272-3908.
Wow, that was your guys' most coordinated one yet.
It'll never happen again. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey, guys, let's open these Valentines. I don't think they're Valentines.
I think they are.
I think these are wedding invitations.
I got one
think
too.
Yeah.
Let's all open them together.
I think wedding invitations are usually bigger than this.
Oh, they are Valentines. No, they're wedding invitations. Are they
Mine's got
Valentines?
cash in it.
What? How did you get cash?
Oh no.
Oh no, these are taco. This is a Taco Bell Valentine.
Oh, I got. Okay, this one's from Reagan.
This one's sealed.
Oh, these are from all different people.
Yeah. They did. So on the
Oh,
Discord,
that's so
I think they
cute.
coordinated this like Valentine exchange. Ooh, a Stitch sticker.
This one says "You're my jam"
Stitcher.
from April, and then I've got a sticker, and then hold
got
on. Oh, this
I
one's-
like your
got a
catitude.
I got a tattoo.
Oh shit, me too. Wait, no, this is a sticker.
Are they tattoos?
Ivy sent. It said a tattoo for
Wait,
you.
is this a tattoo? No, it's a sticker.
I think it. Yeah. I don't know what MH stands for.
Your fantastic Valentine from Lauren. Thanks.
Oh, I got a
Lauren.
glow in the dark. Oh, that's a glow in the dark sticker from Lauren. Thank you. It fell out. It fell out of the thing here. Let me see what else we got here.
Emily said, "There's no topping you, and it looks like a piece of pizza."
Hilarious. That means two things.
Yeah,
What's the other thing?
you're a
Topping
bottom.
you.
I
Oh,
really
pizza.
like.
No, topping.
No,
you.
I got the sex part. I was.
Yeah.
When you watch a little too much porn, you can't even think of pizza, even though there's pizza right there. Just kidding. You make my heart pop. To Kelly from Emily.
Oh, I got a tattoo too from Ivy.
You make my heart kick flip from Kima.
the best to.
Thanks, Kima.
Oh, we got a
Thanks,
voicemail
April.
from
Thanks,
Kima.
all of them.
Ivy, I don't know where my tattoo went. It's somewhere around here. Reagan. Hey, Reagan. I just sent a cameo to Reagan
Oh,
the other
sick!
day.
I got a Lilo and Stitch sticker.
Me
from,
too, from Reagan.
From Reagan.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it
Oh,
on my
that's what I
flight
got.
case.
Thanks, Reagan. Let's see. Oh, and I got a Taco Bell Valentine.
There's so many.
You're
in
all
here.
like Taco Bout from Emily. Emily, I see we've met. It says DJ PS, I like you. I like you back. I love you. And then Kima says, I really like you. And it's a little skateboard with a heart on it. Thank you, Kima. We love you.
This is Anna. I think Anna sent glow in the dark stickers.
Anna did send glow in the dark stickers. Hey, Anna.
I don't
DJ, what
see
are
it.
you talking about?
That was really good.
That's the best,
Holy
Anna.
shit.
Is Anna here?
Oh my
Can
god.
we talk to Anna?
That
right
actually,
now,
I was
DJ?
like, I thought somehow she was gonna pop up on the screen right now. I'm like, has she been watching this live?
April sent a skateboard that said, "I really like you."
Yeah, it's really
Yep.
cute.
Yep.
Thanks,
we
guys.
really like you guys too.
These are great. We're gonna put them up on the wall
Wait,
behind.
has Valentine's Day already happened?
yeah.
It was over a month ago.
Okay.
Yeah. What day is it?
I don't know where I was during Valentine's Day. Hold on one second.
You were in Vancouver.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Did we do anything? I can't remember what we did. Oh, yeah, we had Maya came over and we cooked or something or ate out. I don't
Maya
know.
was there.
Yeah. I don't remember what we did. And Maya. Oh, yeah, she was there too. No, I can't remember what we did, but we did something. Oh, no, did we send her something? We meant to.
You took her to Mexico.
Oh, yeah, we
That
did. That was
works.
for Christmas, though. That was so fun, man. I cannot recommend it enough. And when people say it only costs this, I know it's still a lot of money, but it was $1,100 a person, including airfare
Yeah,
and
that's
an
not bad at all.
all-inclusive for a 7-day vacation.
That's less than it costs to live in Los Angeles. Like if I leave my house,
Yeah.
I spend $100.
Yeah, and Ubers are like $5 to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
It
Did you
was-
get the premium liquor, or is everything premium?
Everything's premium.
Yeah.
See, my friend Abdul, whenever we're in Thailand or ever we go anywhere and the drinks are too cheap, he's convinced that we're all going to get liver failure or kidney failure because he thinks that they're pouring gasoline into the bottles. Like, he's convinced of it. Look at that crying child. So funny.
He's gonna be our first guest.
Dude, he's probably in an institution right
It's
now.
actually Luis from like 8 years ago.
No, but let me tell you, hilarious. Let me tell you, it actually was scary as fuck ziplining. So we went and Maya found it. I found one that had 11 zip lines, and I thought that was a lot. This one had 19 zip lines.
Whoa.
And they drive you to the top of a mountain. And once you're there, there's like a steep incline. And they don't tell you that you need to be physically fit for this. So like old people are like falling down. It's dangerous as shit. So we get to the very top. The mountain is straight vertical. There are no roads up there. Mm-hmm. Once you get to like the little town, after that, it's over. And so they wind you up this mountain. They give you a brief safety demonstration. They strap you in. They give you your little handheld thing that you just take between the things. And then they teach you how to brake. And then they get you on a zip line where you're going 60 miles an hour. And here's what we didn't realize. There's only a few people that work there. And so there's somebody on the platform who ziplined out before you did. And when the other person lands, he's putting them on the other zip line because the group has like 50 people in it and they don't want to be there all day. So he's not looking at you until you're like 10 feet away from him.
It's DIY death.
Yeah. And so this means like hands above head means break, and then like this means don't break. And so he's not, so I start braking hard because he's not looking at me and he's like this. No. But I came in so fucking hard, I bit my tongue.
Oh, God.
And he was like, and I was like, oh, I bit my tongue. And he was like, no. But it was so impossibly high, and they were so much longer than we thought. And there were 19 of them. And then you would do a really long one where you're like, I can't believe that I'm thousands of feet above. Mm-hmm. Like you are in the it's over if you fall or. And at one point, I thought I heard my harness click, and then it seemed like I was a pussy by telling them that. And I was like, well, I guess this would be it. And I wouldn't know much because there's no way you'd survive. No way you'd survive it.
Yeah.
But it was so fun and so worth doing. I'd never want to do it again. And then afterward, they take you to a tequila tasting.
Oh, that's nice.
They should do that first.
Yeah, I should do it first.
I know, but I'm sure there's some sort of law about that. But
it's like, as long as I'm not the staff at the tequila tasting, it's like, what do I need to know about
tequila was
flying through the
amazing.
air?
And we had this, and there's a restaurant attached to it. And there's monkeys and shit. Our bartender was named Gizmo. And that's his real name.
Wow.
And because I didn't believe him, and he showed me his ID, and it says Gizmo.
Did you ask him
God,
how
so
his
hot.
parents were?
No, I mean, I'm sure they're like
He's
Gizmo.
like, they didn't like me.
It probably sounds like a really strong name.
Gizmo.
It was just wonderful, and I always have loved Mexico, and I've never been to the west coast of Mexico. And I feel like when you go to the east coast of Mexico, it's mostly resorty, and the resorts are purposefully away from the road, like a mile to the road and like 10 miles to the town to keep you on the resort because, you know, you're tipping people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're using the goods and services, and you're going to spend money there above what you paid. But the resorts in Puerto Vallarta are downtown.
Yeah.
Because you're landlocked. They don't build in the mountains there. It must be too difficult because they go straight vertical. So there's only a narrow swath for things to be. So you're pretty much near everything all the time. And I loved it. So much so that I contacted a real estate agent.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not, the rest of Mexico is much cheaper. It's like Los Angeles prices in Mexico.
Right.
So for like a 2-bed, 2-bath, you're going to pay like $350,000. But you'll see, you have a view of the ocean and a giant community pool.
Yeah.
And a bar.
Yeah, do it.
And you're near Gusto, which is my new favorite bar in the world. We wrote our names on the wall. They have that tradition too, like they do at the Moose.
Is it like directly on the wall, or do you do it on a dollar or
No,
something
it's
like
directly
that?
on the wall, so that you can always go back and visit your spot. And the Moose does that, but in chalk. And I wrote my first. I've done it twice because I used to sit on the other side of the bar, and now I sit at the opposite side. So usually right where you sit. and both of my original ones are at the Moose. So a lot of times you'll just be there and you'll see people like that. I'm there and I'm there. Where are you? I'm here and I'm there. And so Gusto does that, and it's a way of finding a local spot in a foreign place.
Yeah, Shannon's does. You can put your name on $1 and put it on the wall, so we're up there somewhere.
But I like it when you write it directly on the wall because no one's gonna write over you.
Yeah,
it's really
unless
bad
they
manners.
paint over it.
Yeah, but
then that's a problem.
They would probably
for
lose
everybody.
their customer base because they're also a locals bar in a touristy area.
Yeah. I've only been to Cabo and Cancun.
It's so wonderful. Actually, I priced out flights last night. I did.
You're going back.
I'd like to go back in the hot season to see
Yeah.
how, because if you're going to buy a property, you should probably experience it at all times
All
of
right,
the year.
fine, I'll go with you.
You should also check out Cabo before you buy in Puerto Vallarta. You might like it better.
I don't want arid.
Oh.
I want jungle.
Then never mind.
So, because I have arid here, I don't want a similar climate to Los Angeles, but a little hotter. Like, I really, really want jungle. And also,
he's allergic to the sun.
yeah,
Right. Stay away from Cabo,
I've
then.
developed a sun allergy. I really have.
Yeah.
I got sun aids that lasted for 10 days. My sun aids just went away a couple days ago.
I'm so glad this is the Patreon part.
Yeah,
See
I
you
would
guys
never say
next
sun
week.
aids on our actual show.
It's a good thing we didn't go live on TikTok.
Yeah, he was like, "Do you want to go on live on TikTok for this?" I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "We never edit anything out, but there's something about being live that I just know we would say something to get us canceled."
And Sun AIDS is the winner today.
Bye, guys. We love you.
Bye.
Sit on down and pour yourself a glass.
And tune into your favorite podcast.
Where things will be misquoted.
And opinions ain't sugar coated.
'Cause DJ and Kelly are locked